Hi, everybody. My name is Jason Major, and this is another episode of Biblical Cinematic Universe. Today I'm reviewing Revival, the Gospel of Soul, which stars Mali Music as Jesus, and other people, including Shaka Khan, is in this, and Harry Lennox and Michelle Williams. And Harry Lennox, I know from the Man of Steel Superman movie with Henry Cavill. He played the military guy, Captain Swanswick, I believe it was, in that movie, and he's plays Pontius Pilate in this movie and is one of the producers of this movie. So basically, this movie is essentially, as you can kind of see from the cover and a little bit from the back, it's more of a African American representation of the Easter story and the Gospel story. Particularly, it says the Gospel of John. So the way they do this movie is kind of interesting. It's obviously maybe a low budget, or it's possible this started out as more of a stage play. That's what it feels like. Is that it essentially was like maybe like a stage play in an African American church, and they basically convert it into this kind of sort of movie experience, which is kind of like it's the way to describe it is it's kind of like more closer to theater than it is a movie. Like it kind of goes back and forth. So the movie starts out with you're actually at a theater and you're watching an Easter play at a theater. And then the actor kind of looks into a mirror, and then it kind of flashes back to like the biblical times, and you kind of have this kind of like African American representation with a lot of like gospel type music and soul R&B type music, doing the Easter story. But at the same time, it also has that with you have at the same time it also starts out with like the end of the Easter story, which is like the tomb is empty, and where's the body of Jesus? Has he come back from the dead? Where is he missing? And then they kind of again do another framing device where they go back to the beginning of the story, and then not necessarily in entirely chronological order tell the Gospel of John. And so for me that was slightly confusing, as well as the fact that they kind of go back and forth between like there'll be some stuff that seems like a low budget movie that's on a location, like maybe like a river stream when they do John the Baptist, and then another scene where it's like they're clearly filming in the theater and they're doing the scene in the theater, or they'll do some scenes where the costumes are modern day for the actors, and then there are other times where the costumes are kind of more sort of biblical. So best way to think about this is if you've seen Jesus Christ Superstar, most productions of Jesus Christ Superstar are kind of consistent. So either they're set in the Bible times with like everyone dressed like a Bible hippie, or they're dressed like 1970s because that's when it was made, or you have people dressed up in contemporary times, but it's not usually too much confusing a mix of both. This is kind of a little bit confusing mix of both. And as I said, it's more like closer to what you would get if you were at an Easter African American service, and kind of like a mixture of like gospel songs with a little bit with some drama thrown in for the narrative. But now, if that part is confusing for you, then you might find this movie a little confusing. But otherwise, you might also find it very creative and very energizing and very, what I thought was very refreshing because of that as well. In the sense that, like, you have this sort of movie which kind of takes this really refreshing approach of kind of bringing a unique flavor to it, and even the dialogue kind of sounds more like urban American, like you talking to me type thing, like it's kind of some of the scenes are really kind of cool because of that. I found even a simple scene like Jesus at the wedding ceremony going on, and he the water turning into wine is one of the Bible stories in the movie, and that scene is played out in a way that just feels a little bit more contemporary in the dialogue, or just the way different scenes play out just was really kind of interesting to me, particularly when you get to like Pontius Pilate, which kind of like again does that whole like here we're showing you what it would look like contemporary, but we're also showing you what it would look like now. So I kind of recommend this movie as I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Again, the framing sequence is kind of a little confusing, but otherwise the music, the performances are pretty good, and the acting's pretty good, and it's engaging enough where I think it's going to have great rewatch value for me as something that's an original production of the Gospel of John, and tells it kind of in a refreshing way, and it's a short, like, less than 2 hour movie. So just I recommend it, of something you might want to check out if you like musicals, or if you like stage plays. So I go more in that direction, and it's not like it's not like a full blown Hollywood production of a musical. This is more closer to like you see in a stage play that's kind of made into a movie, like just filmed into a movie. Anyways, talk to you later. Bye.